Hey guys, so glad to have you on this evening. Hey, as you're popping on, go ahead and let us know who you are, where you live, so we can give a shout out to you.
Hi, everybody. We are here today live again. It's Tuesday Night Live. We're here, all of us actually, or a bunch of us, a number of us are here. I'm actually here with Julie tonight. We're at the offices. We got our other partner in a different room, Rafa, running behind the scenes stuff. We're excited for you guys to be here. We know it's summertime. We know there's a lot of things that you all could be doing now. But you know, that's really cool. You know, you want to grow, you want to expand your business, and you know, you really I really believe anytime you do something like this, you're really investing into yourself. You know, you're investing into yourself, you're learning, you're understanding more. So that is very, very exciting.
We got, hey, Michael Anderson, got Ben from Huntington Beach, Florida. Keep letting us know where you are. What's up, Raymond, Ricardo, Octavio, Sandra, Shane, Val, Wayne, J.R. Henderson, Craig. Thank you. D. Brown. It's good talking to you today. I actually talked to him today. Eric, Glenn Connor, Joe, John, Jonathan. Hey everyone. Man, I really hope y'all had a great holiday weekend. What a good country that we live in, right? That we can, you know, celebrate a holiday with our family and just have an awesome time, you know, celebrating our country.
Yes, this was a good weekend. Actually, for those of you that follow me on Instagram, I actually stopped here yesterday, Monday, obviously Memorial Day. You know, nobody was here, and I kind of made a quick Instagram video here. And like my point was that this is like one of the few holidays I really, really appreciate. You know, because of what it stands for and represents, and you know, one of the great holidays that, you know, I think people do need to take some time off on and reflect. So for any service members out there, we thank you for your service. I know we have quite a few of them that are our partners. We have a number of them that are not quite our partners yet, but are dialing in, and we appreciate you guys.
Quick story. I actually bought some property in the mountains. Did I tell you that?
Yep, you did.
It's next to the Army Ranger camp. I'm literally sitting at my property, right?
Right.
And the Army Rangers go by in one of those big Jeeps with a 50 cal on the back. And there was like a guy in the back with the 50 cal. It was like on Memorial Day. I'm thinking, well, wow, what a bit better way to celebrate than watch a bunch of Army Rangers go by. It was kind of hilarious.
I thought you were going to tell me they went by and started shooting or something.
No.
Well, guys, we appreciate you guys dialing in. We'll just kind of go at it for a couple more minutes because I know we have a bunch of people popping on. And again, we appreciate you guys. If you want to let us know where you're dialing in from, that would be great. Again, we know some of y'all are already our partners and we're doing deals with you. Some of you are our partners. We're just getting started with you. And some of you are not quite our partners yet. And it doesn't matter which category you fall into. We feel like tonight you're going to get a lot of value because we always try to do one thing for sure. We try to provide value on these Tuesday night calls to all kinds of people doing all kinds of things in this business. So we had somebody from North Carolina. We got some people from Florida.
Michael Bowling, he's in Great Smoky Mountains. I think he's in Sevierville, over there where Dolly Parton's from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got Michael Anderson from Philadelphia, Kansas City. So glad to have you on. Man, tonight is my absolute favorite topic. You know, a lot of things we talk about is buy, fixing, and selling properties, flipping houses.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, anybody that knows me, I tell everybody this, my favorite thing is wholesaling. I love the process, the act of the deal, getting the deal done quickly. I actually prefer wholesale deals over flips.
And you know what happens, guys, because that obviously cat's out of the bag. That's what we're going to be talking to you guys here in a couple of minutes about wholesaling. And we want to add some value to you all about, you know, understanding how wholesaling works, what it's all about, how to correctly implement it and all this. But I could tell you there's two times in everyone's career where wholesaling becomes important. Not in everyone's career, but in so many people's careers. One is when you're getting started for obvious reasons. We're going to get into those here in a minute. But when someone's getting started, wholesaling is a great business to be in just because of what it involves. And the other time that wholesaling really becomes important is when you become a volume player, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you're doing a ton of deals, just because of, again, the intricacies and the ups and all the strengths of the wholesaling model. And obviously we've been at both ends, right? There was a time where we started where, started with the wholesaling model. Then there was a time where we got to be huge volume wise and we got into wholesaling big time then. Then we kind of started easing out of that for a while. We ourselves got into a lot of fix and flips ourselves personally. And so we eased a little bit out of the wholesaling model. And I'm kind of giving you a 20-year trajectory here, so covering it pretty quickly. And then we re-engaging wholesaling a lot now that we're in a partner-driven model. And we just have such a huge volume of deals that we're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so so we're kind of almost forced into re-engage into wholesaling for a number of reasons, and we'll go over all that. But guys, you know why we do these Tuesday night webinars? There's really two reasons why we do them. The first reason is for those of you that are not yet part of our partnering program, but you're still out there. You're still out there hustling. You're still out there making a difference. You're out there putting deals together, or you may not quite be putting deals together yet. You may be, trying to put your deal together. But the point is, you're doing this by yourself, and we salute you. There's it's not a model that we chose to go down, the path that we chose for ourselves. But we feel like we, to a certain degree, owe something back to this industry because of the things that it's done for us, our families, our kids. We know very well that we would not be here today had we not had help from outside forces in this business, mm-hmm. whether it was other educators, whether it was other investors, whether it was mentors, whoever it was. And so this is kind of our way of giving back to some of you, to this industry, just by, sharing great content, informative content, current content. Only content we share is the content we currently use ourselves. So we don't never get out here and talk about theories. We never get out here and kind of say, well, let's experiment on the audience and see what happens with them, right? We never do that. Everything we share with you guys and talk to you guys about is real life action. So that is the first reason why we do this. Again, for those of you that are not quite part of our world, we want to give you confidence. We want to give you information. We want to encourage you. And deep down inside, we hope one day you realize that it's a lot easier to do this business when you have a partner along, okay? But the second reason we do this is there's a number of you all that dial into these weekly webinars or listen to recordings that are you've come to a conclusion that partnering is where you want to do this. You're kind of sick and tired of hitting your head against the wall in this business. You're kind of at the point where maybe you've already spent a little more than you need to spend. Maybe you've lost money along the way. You're discouraged. The business works. You just kind of come to the point where you might not be able to afford to do it yourself anymore. You might not have any more mental capacity. And I promise you, I've been there, being so beat up. So you're kind of at the point where you're like, I got to get some outside help. I got to understand how this thing works. I got to have, somebody to guide me through this whole thing. But beyond guiding me, some of y'all realize that there's more than just education in this business. There's actually pieces of this business that you need. You need people, you need resources, you need marketing. Obviously, you need money. You need infrastructure. You even need specifics, like you need who's going to close your deals for you and all this. And so that is the other reason why we do these Tuesday night webinars is we want to encourage those of you that are at that point where you're like, oh man, I'm ready to do this thing with someone. We want to raise our hand and say, we want that to be us. Because the model we run here today, and guys, I've been investing for over 20 years. I've done thousands of deals. I've skinned the cat 30 different ways. I've, done techniques, strategies. Julie and I have had ups. We've had downs in this business. We've made mistakes in this business. So we personally came to a conclusion, the way to do this model at the highest level is to partner with people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And
well, they say, teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
And, now the reason we're looking for partners is almost always different for why our partners are looking for us. See, when we started looking for partners, we did it from a perspective of we just want to do more deals.
Mm-hmm.
We were set up to do things at a national level. We had enough financial ability to do things at a national level. So we're always looking for more partners because we want to do more deals. Whereas almost all the time, our partners are not looking at us from that perspective. They're looking at us from a perspective of, hey, I need help. Okay, all right,
Mm-hmm.
I need help. And that's really how this kind of relationship works out many times. We need to do more deals, so we need more local people. And our local people need help to do deals. When the two marry, it becomes a beautiful relationship. Because we know, even though we've been investing remotely for many, many years, we still know it's a local business, right?
Absolutely.
We still know that we need people on the ground to help us execute this thing. And so for us, our local partners are vital in terms of our growth. And we feel like we become absolutely vital to our local partners because when you're partnering with us, you get our team, you get our infrastructure, you get our knowledge, you get our marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get our money, you get our capacity to handle the deal, meaning like maybe fix the deal. And then when we sell them, we split the profits 50-50. And if you're hearing this and you're saying, well, that makes sense, I'd love to be part of that, then that is why we come on here every Tuesday night. We want you to be one of our partners. And so anytime tonight when you're listening or after the webinar tonight, after we're done here in just a little bit, you are more than welcome to go to our website and learn more about our partner-driven coaching program at www.coachingbypeter.com. There you can learn way more than we're going to spend time today talking about. And if you feel like, yep, this makes sense, then just put your information into the site and one of us will touch base with you, and then hopefully we'll be on our way to doing our first deal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, so that's kind of all the cool. Oh, by the way, for those of you that are not, that already are our partners, because that's a third group of people that dial into, those are the people that are partners, we're going to have an incredible weekend for you guys coming up, right? August 10th and 11th. And just plan on being there. If you're one of our partners, obviously we're not going to charge you to be there, but we want you to come visit. August 10th and 11th, it's going to be right in our Atlanta. It's a little bit north of Atlanta where we're going to be meeting. And it is going to be awesome, guys. So just block off that weekend, more information to come, but we want to start putting the word out. We want to start promoting it. And it's going to be phenomenal. Mm-hmm. 2 weekends, 2 days, fully packed of information, strategy talk, personal interaction with us, a great social event Saturday night. And when you're done here Sunday and you go back to where you came from, I promise you, no matter what level you start out, when you get here, you're going to be at, 20 notches above that. So make a note of that. Plan on being here August 10th and 11th, and more information for registration and stuff like that to come here to you guys shortly. All right. So topic at hand. Today we want to talk to you guys about wholesaling. We want to talk to you about how, what wholesaling is all about. We want to talk to you about how we wholesale. We want to talk to you about how you could put yourself into advantageous position when you're wholesaling. And we just want to share our personal thoughts about wholesale. I mean, Julie already kind of spilled the beans 10 minutes ago.
Sorry.
Well,
I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, because she said it's her favorite, way of doing deals. And I could tell you, there's a lot of validity in what she said. Because if I had to, gauge different techniques, different strategies, and give, the positives and the negatives of all of them, I could tell you it's kind of hard to beat wholesaling. It really is hard to beat wholesaling with all the value that it offers to the individuals. And so, wholesaling is just one of the strategies that we currently utilize with a number of our partners. It's a strategy we've utilized ourselves for years and years. I pretty much built this business on wholesaling. And so let's just kind of walk through what the art of wholesaling is, okay? You want to? It's like, sure. I told Julie the day before we got started, I'll be flipping this over to you a lot today.
So, you know, for a lot of you out there, you know, that want to know what wholesaling is, I'm going to give you the simple, a simple explanation. Okay. And then I'm going to explain to you how to go get these deals and how to get them flipped over. Okay. Essentially what you are doing is you are getting a property under contract direct with a seller. Okay. Now there's other ways of do it. There's other people out there that are doing this on MLS and all other strategies. I think personally, it's an absolute waste of time. If you are not direct to seller, you are making a huge, huge mistake. If you think going through these other avenues are easier, being non-successful is harder. I promise you that. Okay. So what you're doing is you are finding a property, placing it under contract direct with the seller. Okay. Then you are basically selling the contract to an end buyer. Okay. You're not really selling the property more so than the contract in regular wholesaling. So you are assigning your contract that you got from one buyer from you to another person. Let's say you get a property under contract for $150,000, and then you might sell the contract at $160,000. So technically what you're doing is you're making the $10,000 in the middle for an assignment fee. Now I'm going to go over here in a little bit how the way we do it is a little bit different. Okay. As far as how we have to find buyers, but I want to clear up some misconceptions. People say to me all the time, well, I don't want to wholesale because you don't make as much money. Okay. Because I love the idea of flipping houses. I've never done that before. People, you see HGTV and that's what you want to do. If you're making money, what difference does it make? Right? Isn't that the overall goal? So I'll tell you what my best deal is, and I'm saying it to brag as well as to give you an idea. Our average wholesale deal is around $15,000. You know, at one point we wholesaled a property and made $83,000. I know Seth in California, he beat the $83,000 record and did it for $115,000.
That's right.
$115,000 on a wholesale deal. Why would you ever go through the stress of flipping a property if you could make that kind of money, right? The other thing about wholesaling is this. Let's say you have been doing a long time and you're deciding to fix and flip. If you don't set your business up to where you can do fix and flips and wholesales, you're going to leave a lot of money on the table. You can only manage so many flips at one time before you run into capacity. I mean, your construction guys can only do so much. You can only manage so much, right? At one point, we were wholesaling 7 to 10 properties a week, at an average of that $12,000 to $15,000 a piece. Sometimes more, sometimes less. You do the math. Is wholesaling something you want to do? But mark my words, please, please, please listen here. I have watched so many people to where they are going to the MLS, putting in hundreds of offers to get something under contract so that they can wholesale it to an end buyer. I'm not discounting what other people teach or that it does not work, but that is not a sustainable business model whatsoever. You have gotten, and we teach this on other webinars. And by the way, like in our partner program, we do live training calls every day, Monday through Friday. And let me tell you, the main focus on what I teach is how to go find these deals direct to seller. Okay. Look how many sellers there are in the world. It's like infinite possibilities. Once you know how to go get a deal direct to seller, you're never going to need anybody else in a good economy or in a bad economy. Because one thing you did not mention is whenever the economy goes bad, do you think fixing and flipping houses is a good idea? If you don't have end buyers or retail buyers to buy these properties, you're stuck in the water. I think we all learned that in the crash when everybody got into a bunch of fix and flips, right? But there were a few select people that are even now, they're saving their money right now for the next crash. And who do you think these guys are? They're buy and hold investors. You are going to make a killing at that point in time, just like you can make it now, because a lot of the investors are wanting to buy, fix, and sell properties now. And what do they need? They need deals. You need to be the deal person. If you've got all the deals and you can cherry pick which ones you want to fix and flip, which ones you want to buy and hold, and which ones you wholesale, you're holding all the keys. Okay? So I know I'm a little bit passionate about this direct to seller thing, but if you've never, if you've never held on to anything I say, please, please, please hold on to that. Because no matter what the economy is, I'm always going to be able, at worst case scenario, to go knock on somebody's door, worst case scenario, and go get a property under contract and get it resold. Now, you scale your business with wholesaling through, other avenues with marketing and things like that. But that's truly the way to scale your business, so that you can hire more people, so you can hire callers, acquisitions managers, salespeople. You've got to have consistent deal flow coming in. Kind of one thing that I tell people is your wholesale deals should pay your bills. Your flips, your profit from your flips should be your savings account money. Your wholesale deals should always pay your business expenses. And this is how I feel about it. Now, the one thing that we do that's a little bit different, absolutely we build buyers databases, because obviously once you get these deals under contract, you're going to need to resell these to buyers. Let me tell you how working with Peter and I is super unique. And I mean super unique. Listen up. Everybody got it? So when you're first getting started, if you do not have a robust buyer's list, if you go get a property under contract, what are you going to do to try to sell that property? Give me some answers, guys. We got a chat box here. What are some ways to sell some of your wholesale deals? Kenna, I see you on, girl. I know you know. Glenn says hire a realtor. MLS. To other investors, other websites. Thank you, guys. We really appreciate it. Keep going. Your small network of buyers. Thank you, Ben.
Other wholesalers.
Maybe you're putting ads on Facebook Marketplace, going into Facebook groups and things like that. Now, a couple people said something that was very interesting. Contract local rehabbers, JV partners. Oh, this one's cute, Wayne. Use your auctioneer's license and hold an auction. That's pretty cool. Now, the thing about that is that you're going out and they're not coming to you. Someone said hire a realtor. Okay, for a realtor to list your property, you have to have the ability to double close. Do you guys get what I'm saying? When you're assigning a property from you to another person at closing, you are just another line item on the settlement statement. If you list with a real estate agent, right? I've got a property under contract before I ever even close the property. You can list the property with a real estate agent so that they can procure a buyer. But what happens at closing? You're not going to be able to do an assignment, which means you have to have the cash to fund the deal in the first place. That's what makes working with Peter and I so incredible. Because not only do we fund these fix and flips, but and yes, Ben, they do take money. But however, on the MLS, you can ask more money than you can directly to your buyers. People will pay more on the MLS than they will anywhere else. And I'll tell you why. Your property will be on 76 1,000+ websites across the world, where your network may only be right here in your town. You may get the guy from California, China, somewhere else that buys your property that's willing to pay more money. So a lot of the reasons why people don't list on the MLS is because if you don't have the money to fund the first deal, you would not be able to close that deal. And that's where Peter comes in, right?
Absolutely. Just and for those of you that are not maybe 100% following what we're saying here, I know it's a little bit more advanced, but that's the cool thing about wholesaling, is that you could make it in a very advanced model. One of the things Julie brought up before, well, some people don't want to wholesale because they don't think you make a lot of money on it. Guys, you can wholesale. Well, Julie's already giving you examples where we've made in upper six figures on wholesale deals. But guys, the other cool thing about wholesaling is that, remember, it's a strategy. It does not tie you into a particular thing. I remember a while back, I actually wholesaled a whole apartment building. Literally, it was one of my first wholesale deals I remember back then. Well, guess what? When you're a part, so if you want to wholesale, but you're like, well, it doesn't make me enough money, move up into some bigger real estate, right? Go after, you'll be surprised how many like big time buyers have bought their properties from wholesalers. All right. I know land development deals get wholesaled a lot. Subdivisions can be wholesaled, apartments and stuff. I'll tell you, I love wholesaling because, it's literally one of those strategies you could drop anywhere off in the United States in the middle of the city. And if you have to kind of pick yourself up and say, well, I'm going to do this business, what should I do? You might not know anything in that area. You might not have any money in your pocket beyond some living expenses. You might not have any connections in that city, but if somebody looked at me, dropped me off in a random city, gave me a finite amount of money and says, go put a deal together, there's no question I'd start out with wholesaling. The other good thing about wholesaling is that it's a fairly uncomplicated model. Sometimes people get into very complicated models because they don't have certain things that they think they need to do deals. And it's true. I mean, if you're going to be a fix and flipper, you need money. I mean, I don't care who tells you what, unless you're working in our partnering program where I truly do provide all the capital. If you're going to go out there and do, let's say, fix and flips, you're going to go out there and you're going to need capital, whether it's down payment money, carrying costs, construction money, right? 20,000 different things.
I was talking to one of our partners today.
Mm-hmm.
That we're going to actually partner with him on the deal.
Right.
I'm not sure if you're on. He is on. Man, he need like $65,000 down just to even start the deal.
Very common. Very common. I could tell you, not to get off on the tangent here, but if you're going to be doing your own deals and they are the kind of, rentals, fix and flips, you better be prepared. Have 20 to 40% of your purchase plus rehab available to you. So if you're buying a house for, let's say $100,000 and you're spending $100,000 to fix it, that's $200,000. You better have $40,000 to $80,000 available, whether it's in down payment money, carrying costs, fronting your construction guys, whatever it may be, you got to have it available. So anyway, so wholesaling is a great entry point into the business, right? Like I said, if I started over again or if somebody today dropped me somewhere new, I'd wholesale because of the uncomplexity of the model. Aside that you don't really need, if you know how to structure it right way, you don't need the cash. It's also a fairly uncomplicated model because really to wholesale, like let's say lease options. People sometimes get into lease options because like, well, man, I heard lease options take no money. Could be true, but it's a very complicated model, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes wraps, people get into wraps because like, well, I heard wraps take no money, but I promise you it's a very, very complicated model with a lot of potential liabilities involved with it. Wholesaling is one of those true models that takes no money and it's also very uncomplicated. Really two parts to a wholesale deal, right? There's the acquisition part and there's the disposition part. You got to find a deal and you wholesale it with a markup to an outside investor, and that right there in essence is the wholesaling model, right? Now, I'll tell you what I did when I got started in this business. Some of y'all may be looking at this, you're like, well, that sounds pretty cool. when I got started in this business, you know, my second start, my first start, as everybody knows, it was a disaster. I got into fix and flips, disaster, lost $500,000, you know, had a huge pity party for about a year, you know, then kind of reinvented myself. And then I got really serious about wholesaling, right? But the cool thing about wholesaling is that it's one of the few models where if you truly understand it, you could literally just focus on one side or the other side of it. And that's what I did for the first 6 months in this business. When I got into wholesaling, big time, like I became a big wholesaler. I only focused on one side of the model, not the acquisition side. I only focused on the disposition side. You know, think about it. There's not too many models that you could do that where you could literally just hand off something. I mean, unless you get to our kind of level where someone like me and Julie can hand off a huge part of our business. But in a wholesale model, literally you could hand off one side of that model to a third party. And so what I did when I got started, I literally connected with some of the top wholesalers in this business already. And I made deals with them. And my deals were very simple. Listen, I know you got inventory. What I got buyers. So what kind of deal can you and I structure that if I bring you a buyer, how can we share in the wholesale fee? And, you know, some wholesalers didn't want to do it. Some wholesalers were, you know, iffy about it. Some wholesalers, for whatever reason. But there were some wholesalers that are like, that sounds like a great deal. And I could tell you, I got tons and tons and tons of inventory from other wholesalers that I just ultimately end up wholesaling to my investors. So I literally subbed that side of the business out and just focused on the back-end investors, developed a huge infrastructure in terms of investors, and I wholesaled tons and tons of deals. You could actually even do the reverse. You could get in the wholesaling strictly from the acquisition side.
Which is my favorite side.
Which is, and that's what, if you think about it, that's what our model was here all about, right? I mean, we ran an acquisition side investment model. You know, everything here, we're in a 10,000 square foot building. And when we were doing our own deals before a partnering program, it was all about acquisitions, right? We had basically a call center in here. We had direct mail going out of here. We had our negotiators sitting here. We had our team of realtors here, right? Guess what? Every single one of those pieces was all about acquiring. So we became prolific in terms of, and you know, when you put it all under one umbrella, that's marketing. And so we became brilliant marketers, very strong marketers. And there were days I remember in our heydays when we would have the phone ring, check this out, 1,000 times a day. Can you imagine imagine being you right now, whatever you is, it's not really a word, whoever you are.
Don't ask me.
Yeah, I was like, what is that? Whoever you are, can you imagine having your phone ring 1,000 times a day? When we were doing our deals before our partner-driven program, we're doing deals with our partners all over the United States. Our literally phones would blow up over 1,000 times here. Okay, so we became that became our strength. We only had really two salespeople ever on the back end, right? Willie and Jason, right?
Yeah.
And so we had 10,000 square foot building, you know,
15 ladies,
15 people, 15 ladies, a whole real estate team, admin people, support people, and on the sales side we only had 2 people, right? Because we became so strong on that acquisition side.
Well, that was because our buyers list was so prevalent that when we got a deal, we had no problem selling.
We had no problem moving it.
Can I answer this question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Michael, it says, can we get a house under contract that's in pre-foreclosure with 35% equity, for example, and just wholesale it to our buyers list? Yes and no. I'm going to tell you the reasons why you could do both. Be very, very afraid if you're working with a seller that is in pre-foreclosure, okay? Because what you're doing is you're going out to that person and saying, hey, I'm going to buy this property and stop your foreclosure. What happens if you don't find a buyer? You just put that seller in a big world of hurt. And that's just kind of a rude thing to do. Now, if I go to that property in pre-foreclosure and I have a cash buyer on the other side that maybe I've done a few deals with, that I trust, and I know he's going to close on it, then yes, I would wholesale that deal. But I would lean more to that be a property that I would want to buy, just for the simple fact that it would bother my conscience for me to not close on that deal and then them lose their property to foreclosure. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, ultimately, you know, integrity is very important in this business. I don't know how many pre-foreclosures we even wholesaled ever before.
I've only ever done one because we've always bought them all because I was worried people wouldn't close.
So that has never really been our model here. So yeah, because, you know, obviously when you're dealing with or the other way to do it is you disclose, right? You just let everything's a risk, and if you disclose fully to that seller what is going on. Yeah. And lay out the plan of what you intend to do, that there are some potential consequences of not happening, then I think, you know, it might not be, you know, I wouldn't necessarily stay away from that scenario, but it's all about disclosure. But yeah, see, the other reason there's so many positives about wholesaling. The other positive about wholesaling is that it's a very mobile model. Like, think about it. Let's say you're a renter person, right? And now you spend years acquiring, you know, you got a rental here, you got a rental across the street, and next thing you know, you got 20 or 40 rentals scattered, you know, around maybe 5 to 10 miles of where you live. And you're doing good. You know, you could see them, feel them, you know your tenants, you've screened them, people around town know you, so nothing's ever empty because you get a ton of referrals. And then let's say one day you're like, gosh, I wish I could live in Florida where it's nicer weather, right? Mm-hmm. That's going to be hard. I mean, you can't take those 40 houses with you, right? And guess what? When you got 40 houses where the whole town knows that you own them and you're kind of the kingpin there, and all of a sudden you move across country, you'd be surprised how quickly those tenants could take advantage of you, how quickly property managers could potentially take advantage of you, and all that. So bottom line is that's not a very portable model. But you look at something like wholesaling. You know, let's say you've wholesaled 10, 20 properties in an area, and then you want to make that same move to Florida. Well, guess what? You just pack up your belongings and go, because it's very easy to reinvent yourself. You know, the way you built your buyer's list in, let's say, Michigan is the exact same way, right, that you're going to build your buyer's list in Florida. The way that you acquired things in Michigan is going to be very much similar to the way you acquired things in Florida. So no money into deals if you know how to structure them the right way. Portability, very, very important. Also, ease of use. And what I mean by that is this. You know, let's say you're doing this by yourself and you're a fix and flipper, right? And let's say you made a mistake on a deal, right? I mean, a mistake on a fix and flip, and trust me, we know that, right? A mistake on a fix and flip could be very costly. It could be very costly financially. It could be very costly reputation-wise. It could be very costly up here stress-wise. And a mistake on a fix and flip can ultimately cause you to have to get out of business, because sometimes some mistakes are not sustainable by individuals, okay? So there's a lot of models that are not very easy to implement, and are not only from in terms of ease, but also in terms of very forgiving. Wholesaling is probably, in my opinion, is probably the most forgiving model.
And it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Well, you cannot forget the fun. Yeah. But think about it. Wholesaling is one of those true models where, you hear me talk about this all the time. If you follow me at all and you hear me teach this business, you always hear me talk about you got to network. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a wholesaler, if you fix and flipper, if you're a renter, a lease option guy, if you're a developer, if you're a land guy, I don't care who you are, you got to network in this business. Now, I don't want to get in a tangent of why, but I could tell you it's because if you want to make money, you got to network. I mean, that's just the best way I could summarize it. Well, kind of piggybacking off what Julie said in terms of fun, wholesaling forces you to get around people. I mean, it's so many in this business, some of these models tend to be like, even though I always tell people you got to network, some of these models are kind of a little bit, you kind of doing your own thing a lot of times. You're kind of left to the wolves, looking at your spreadsheets and all this kind of stuff. Guess what? Wholesaling is going to force you to get around people. And so I'm of a big opinion. I know Julie is too. When you're around people, when you're around other people doing what you're doing, not only is it funner, but you learn better, you gain more, and you get to be a lot more savvy. So yes, I would say probably out of all the models, wholesaling is probably the funnest model, and it's one that puts you, around a lot of people. And I will tell you this, because this is something that comes up a lot. And, we kind of preach against this, and that is this. People say all the time to me, well, Pete, I'm in, I'm in Michigan, and I want to do my first deal in Hawaii. That's a little extreme. Maybe I want to do my first deal in Indianapolis. And one of the things that I tell people, that's a dangerous way to start out. I mean, because real estate is kind of a see it, feel it, touch it kind of business. Let's say you're doing your first deal, and man, let me tell you something. If you're ever going to be hands-on, it's going to be your first initial 3, 4, 5 deals. You're going to be totally hands-on because you're going to be learning through them. You're going to be studying through them. You're going to be understanding this business through them. Well, if you're in Michigan, let's say Grand Rapids, we're going to do everything we can to encourage you to stay there, at least for your initial deals. But if there was one model where I would say you could probably deviate from staying local to staying, outside your local zone, it's probably wholesaling. Again, because of all the reasons we're talking about. It's the most forgiving model. It's the one that requires the least amount of money, if any money at all. It's the one that gives you the ability to not be the ultimate buyer. So your due diligence doesn't have to be as tight as when you're the ultimate buyer. Because, literally you could be in Grand Rapids, Michigan. All of a sudden your Uncle Harry calls from where? Indianapolis, Indiana, right?
We're like, I can't even name one city in America.
Out of a million cities. So now your uncle calls from Indianapolis, Indiana, and he's like, you know what? I'm done with this renter property. I hate all the renters. I don't even know any of the realtors that could help me, and just take it off my hands. Hey, you know what? Might not be a bad thing to do, right? Because you know how to set up an investor database. It's, again, no risk to you. If it doesn't work out, you're going to explain that to your uncle. But if your uncle calls and says, listen, I got this property here and it's 500 miles away from you, and you're going to need to fix it, and you're going to need to spend 60 grand, and you're going to need to hire contractors, and you're going to need to probably supervise them, because anyone you pay 60 grand to that works with a hammer may not be the most trustworthy person around. I'd be questioning that. I'd be like, as a newbie, or maybe even beyond a newbie, that might not be something that you want to get into. So even something that I so often preach against, remote investing, regional, national investing. I would say probably the only model that I would say potentially, if you found the right deal, wholesaling would be the model to do that with. All right. So bottom line is this. Julie said it best when we started. She loves the model. I mean, and what can you say? There's not much not to love about wholesaling. And again, even the things that people don't love about wholesaling, usually it's because they don't understand it. Mm-hmm. Like, well, I can only make $3,000. That's not true. You can make way more than that. Oh, I can only make, only 10, 15,000 is not enough for my time.
I'm like, really?
Yeah, it makes
Donald Trump wouldn't even turn down 15,000.
There's no question. So all the reasons people think that, even, you could see all the positives, but even all the negatives, it's because people don't truly understand the model. And so wholesaling, great model. Now, the good thing is that in our partner-driven program, we've taken wholesaling to a much higher level. And just some of the things that Julie kind of sprinkled through this, for instance, when you're one of our partners, you have the ability to do something you cannot do otherwise. You have the ability to actually market your property through the MLS. And I can tell you, I think you might have sent it, maybe you didn't. There ain't no buyers list bigger than MLS buyers list, okay? So we have the ability through our partner program to give a ton more exposure on those properties. We have the ability, if it moves through MLS, like Julie said, you got to double close on it. Guess what? It means you need money. You're not going to be double closing the way we used to do 10 years ago, where you could funnel, front end money to the back, BC money to the AB part. Those days are gone, which means you're going to truly, truly need money. Well, guess what? With our partners, we provide that money and all this. So, again, we feel like we have with our partners taken even this fairly basic strategy, right? Fairly basic model of wholesaling, and we've taken it up a notch. And
well, I mean, that's because we want all of our partners to quit their full-time job and do this full-time.
No question.
And if you just go on one strategy, you're not going to be able to scale a fix and flip business ground up. I just don't think so. Maybe you can.
No, there's no question. There's no question. Oh, and that's the other thing. I don't know if we mentioned it. I don't want to keep on talking about all the positives because there's a lot. The other big positive, it's probably the quickest, right?
Well, yeah, you can get your money in as little as
quick
3-4 weeks.
And you ain't going to do a fix and flip in a couple of weeks. You're not going to do a lease option in a couple of weeks and make any significant money. You're not
getting it $200 a month at a time.
And you're not getting $200 a month. That's right. That's the other thing. You're getting your whole pop right up front. With some of the other strategies, you're getting it a little bit at a time. A lot of wraps, lease options, subject twos, rentals, all of those. That's just a little pop. The other cool thing about wholesaling is that you get your pop right away, and it's fun. We love doing it with our partners. We it's Tuesday. Yesterday was a holiday, but Friday I was here with Jamari. I think you were gone. Did you see him?
Yeah, no, I didn't see him. He come in until 4:30.
Okay, so I came in and I met one of our partners here, Jamari. He was so excited. We just got done doing our first wholesale deal with him Friday. He's got another one in the works that I think like a big one, right? $30,000.
I think it's closer to like
$26,000, and it was cool. It was just like.
And the first one was still after we paid Jason $7,300. Yep. That's nothing to.
No, absolutely not. And here's Jamari, great partner of ours, and we did our first wholesale deal and another one on its way. So wholesaling is a true strategy. We don't. Excuse me. You never want to look at it. Sometimes people. Isn't that funny? Sometimes people say, oh, he's not an investor, he's a wholesaler. I'm like, well, what kind of category does that fall into? No, you're truly an investor if you're a wholesaler.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's a great strategy. And after 20 years in the business, like I said, just last business day here, we were splitting a wholesale deal. So we love to do them. But guys, the most important thing is we love to do real estate deals overall. And we hope you guys got some value out of today. The good thing is everything we told you, everything we showed you, we'll have to read this in a minute. Everything we told you, everything we showed you today, it's what we do on a daily basis. We're investors. We do a ton of fix and flips. In my career, I've owned over 400 buildings. So to understand the rental business, done, subdivisions, done, land deals, apartments. But I can tell you, we love wholesaling, and everything we talked about today is what we do on a daily basis. Having said that, we want more partners, guys. We're geared in. That's what we spend the whole night talking about here tonight. Infrastructure. It's our partnering program is growing in leaps and bounds. We ourselves are just tickled by it. Matter of fact, Julie was just telling me that we're thinking about bringing a new deal coordinator in, right? Just because we are doing so many deals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with all the deals we're doing, we're gonna need more staff, just because of all the contracts coming in from our partners, the deals, and all this. So it's a great time to be one of our partners. So if you listen to this tonight and you're like, you know what, they sound like they think that they seem to know what they're talking about. Well, you're right, we do. We got experience and we got proof that we actually do know what we're talking about. The great thing is we're still investors, we're still partnering, we're still doing deals, and we want more partners. So if you want to use our resources to find deals, that's right, we actually generate leads for our partners. You want to use our knowledge to become a much more savvy investor than you are now. Use our money to buy those properties, our money to fix them. We sell them, split the profits, or maybe not even fix them, do what we talked about tonight, wholesale, right? Maybe wholesale them and split the profits down the middle. Then you need to be part of our partner-driven coaching program. So to learn more how you can do that, simply go to our website at www.coachingbypeter.com. put your information in there, and somebody, maybe even myself, will touch base with you personally and go over more of that. Now, as I was going to this, you were flashing something. Did you hear a question?
Yeah, you don't mind if I answer?
Yeah, go. I couldn't even
and
see
then
it.
Also, listed, this is like, forgive me, we're like totally just regular people off the cuff if you don't see that already. I want to go show them all the contracts we have out right now. You want to go?
Yep.
Sorry, we're walking through our office, so it's a little awkward. Ooh, there's Rafa in the Playmate cooler. Sorry. So, Peter, come in here and look. Sorry, this is our office. We're just walking through. Everybody's off by now. Do you guys see that? Every one of these are contracts that we have out right now with our partners. I mean, that's incredible. Those are potential deals that we're doing, right now.
Oh, well, I was just going to show, and some of these are works in progress. These are some deals that we're doing with our partners right here. We obviously don't have enough board space, so we're increasing that. Let me just tell you something. Fly in here for a second. Oops. When you're working with us, contracts is where it starts, but guess what? Then it goes into this office. And right here are more contracts, more deals that we're working on, files.
Those are our closings in the next week.
Those are our closings. Okay, cool. Closings,
yeah.
So good. And this is where Mary sits. For those of you that know us, you know Mary. And Mary's an integral part of our team here. And Mary will be dealing directly with you as a partner. She takes care of all the files. So when we get properties under contract, we're not going to ask you to run around like a chicken with your head cut off, chasing files, chasing closings. Mary will handle it for you. And I promise you, Mary is literally a bulldog. And if she was sitting there, I'd say that in front of her. Actually, I don't think she wants me to call her a bulldog anymore.
She probably don't.
And bottom line is she's aggressive. She knows exactly what she's doing.
Sorry, I hope it's okay, guys. Let me know if it's okay that I took you guys on a field trip today. I just wanted you to actually physically see our office and kind of what we got going on here. But I do want to answer a couple questions that I received. Michael says, can we get, no, already answered that one. So in your partner-driven program, you provide the leads in my local area for wholesale, fix, and flip properties. 1,000%. When you're a partner, we're going to ask for 10 zip codes. I'll explain all that to you when you sign up with us. And we're going to pull a list of everybody that is in pre-foreclosure that has at least 35% equity. We're also going to pull a list of everybody that has a lien against their property with 35% equity. And on top of that, we're going to teach you exactly how to work these leads so you can get these properties under contract. Once you get them under contract, then you can decide whether you want to wholesale them, fix and flip, and buy and hold. But that's how you figure out how to find these deals direct to seller.
All right, guys. Well, listen, this is what we do. We do deals. We love talking about deals. We love sharing deals with you guys. So again, for those of you that are ready to be part of our partnering program, simply go to our website at www.coachingbypeter.com. There you can get more information. Put your information in there. We'll touch base with you, and if we're a right fit for each other, then off we go. It's time to put deals together.
Sounds good. And hey, for those of you that are kind of getting some money together to join the program, you'll be there soon enough. And man and women, I cannot wait to do our first deal with you. I'm so excited because I've talked to some of these people, and
Sure.
I know how excited they are. You will get there. If you want something bad enough, you will make it happen. This business changed my life, and it can change yours. That's not a sales pitch. One day you'll hear my story. I'll explain it to you. But I truly, truly mean that. That's all I've got for tonight. But absolutely love wholesaling.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Same time, same place next week.